Cajun Classic Cars TV is happy to have Jerriot with Cruisin' Southern Style. How you doing today, man?
All good, brother. How are you?
All right, I'm ready for one of those caps. I'm gonna have to buy one
we
when I go to the show.
we can hook you up like a tow truck.
All right, man. Listen, thanks for talking with us today. Cajun Classic Cars TV. It kind of introduced myself. I'm an old car guy, and I was sitting there watching TV one day, binge watching all these car shows, and I got to watching a show called Dirty Old Cars, where they spend 30 minutes washing cars. And I got to thinking, if I'm watching 30 minutes of them washing cars, people might be interested in cars around the state and stories behind them and the people around them. So we launched this about a month or so ago, and it's been going gangbusters. And we've got a bunch of episodes in the can. We've fortunate enough to interview Jay Leno. We interviewed Jim over at the auction company there, and
Big box, great
yeah,
guy.
yeah, and so with the car show coming up, I wanted to hook up with you. So not only to introduce ourselves to you, but also you have a chance to talk about the club and then talk about the great work you guys do. So again, thanks for being here with us here today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with a little bit about Cruisin' Southern Style, the club itself, the organization. How long has that been around?
Man, we started the car club itself in 2000 and or 2001 maybe. We started doing Cruisin' Southern Style. I think this will be our 18th year. We've got 17 under our belt. This is going to be our 18th year of doing Cruisin' Southern Style. And probably the first 3 or 4 years, we donated our proceeds to the local I Wish chapter based out of Alexandria. And it kind of just went away. The person that was in charge of it got promoted or moved, whatever. And that organization just kind of went away. And we were looking, we wanted to keep doing this, and we were going to donate our money. We wanted to make sure we donated it to a children's charity. And there's not another one out there that's more worthy than St. Jude's. So that's whenever we decided to start donating everything to St. Jude's. So we've probably been donating to St. Jude's, man, 12, 13 years or so now.
Well, listen, being a broadcaster like I am, I've been involved with St. Jude since the beginning of their Country Cares for Kids program, where country radio stations donated, and they just reached a milestone, which being a contributor to St. Jude, you probably read, but they've reached the $1 billion mark.
That's amazing.
Just
we're a
and
long
that's
way
just,
from that, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I hear you. That's just radio, and specifically country radio stations around the country. And so that is amazing. And for folks that don't know, St. Jude, it takes about $2 billion a year to run St. Jude Hospital.
Right, right.
And so any little bit helps. I know sometimes people say my $5, my $10, my registration fee, of 30 something bucks doesn't help. But I can tell you it adds up and adds up, and it's great for the kids. And, while it can be a somber moment sometimes, if you've never had a chance to go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, I highly recommend it, because it is an amazing place. It is a place of hope. And there's more hope and laughter and fun there than you would think would be in a hospital.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's definitely an amazing place. And, I know, what we do is a drop in the bucket compared to what they need, but we actually sat down. I don't have the numbers in front of me, and we broke down how much, how much different levels goes to do. And for what we've done, like $100,000 or something like that is it's like one chemo treatment, or it was something like that, and so if people weren't putting drops in that bucket, the bucket would never get full. So and we have speakers come in every year, or the last few years since we've been doing the VIP dinner, and that are either St. Jude's patients, parents of St. Jude's patients, or something like that can really tell some heartwarming stories about how St. Jude has touched them. And unfortunately, you don't have to look very far. You know,
I
that to find a St. Jude's patient, you don't have to look very far.
For folks that need to know this, and you just sparked something in my mind there, it's even though your child may not ever, God forbid they have to ever have to go to any hospital for that kind of treatment, just because they may not have gone or have to go to St. Jude, the research done at St. Jude helps every single clinic and hospital when it comes to children's cancer. So let's keep that in mind. It may be a Memphis-based location, but children's hospitals here in the state and the Gulf South and around the country benefit from St. Jude. So
Absolutely.
that's important to know. You guys, I think I saw on the website, what, $130,000 in last year, or
La-
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
last year we donated $130,000 to St. Jude's. Since we've been doing, and the show has really blown up probably in the last 6 or 7 years. Whenever, we kind of got hooked up with Joe and Amanda over at Martin Brothers, and they've really helped us grow the show. And unfortunately, they're not going to be able to be there this year, but we have some other celebrities coming in. But since then, the show has really grown. And yeah, last year was the first year we went over $100,000, and we were able to donate $130,000, and we're right around that $600,000 mark totals that we've donated to St. Jude. So, we'll hit 1 million before long. I mean, it won't be this year, but and hopefully within the next 4 or 5 years, we'll hit the 1 million mark.
Well, kudos to you guys for doing a great job. So I see back there you've got GTO pictures, you've got the Dukes of Hazzard folks. What kind of cars do you have or have had? Tell us a bit about your background.
Well, I'm just a typical car nut. I like everything. I've had um, modern cars. I've had classic cars. Probably most people know me for or know my 55. I've got a 55 Bel Air named Norma Jean. We call her Norma, and that's probably more people know that car than know me. But I've also had some late model cars. I had a square body pickup that was really nice. Yeah, I've had it was a late model GTO that was supercharged and all that. And but I like everything. I'm not, some people just like cars, some people just like trucks, some people just like Chevys, some people just like Fords, some people just like Camaros. I mean, I like everything. If it's cool and I'm right there with you. I like it. So
Well, I'm the same way, but and before I kind of get into my background on cars, I would tell folks watching and listening that you got the General Lee there behind you. In about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have an episode that features a bunch of those cars from the show. So for folks to stay tuned to that. But I go back to helping my dad out with Mustangs. A '68 Mustang way back when, but over the years I've had Fiats, and I had a '73 Torino, which I redid to look like the Starsky and Hutch TV show, which has a Dukes of Hazzard connection, by the way. A little trivia. When CBS television needed a bunch of cars for their first car chase, they found everything on their lot, including a '73 Torino from Starsky and Hutch. So if
really,
you ever go back and look at the old Dukes of Hazzard, you'll see that. And I right now I have a '57 Nash, a little Nash. I put a wind-up key on the back of it. You may have
uh,
seen.
I might have saw it at Cars and Coffee this past weekend.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Okay,
that
okay,
was
yep.
mine. And then I've got a '65 Thunderbird, which has spent most of its time on blocks. But here in the next few weeks, we should have that back. And I got the Nash because when I lived in another state, I had a '71 Saab Sonnet, which is the only sports car Saab ever made. And it was just a weird, unique car, but I didn't want to haul it when I moved, which I regret not keeping. And I just wanted something weird. And be careful what you wish for, because that day on my Facebook feed, the Nash came up, and I thought, okay, now that's weird. I'm going to buy that. And but is there a car in your history that you would call the one that got away, that you went, man, I wish I'd have got that?
Well, I mean, the reason I have Norma, my first classic car was a '55 Bel Air two-door hardtop, and I got it from my dad. And I had that car for I think about 8 years or so. And back then, I mean, money was really, really tight, and I did all the work myself. And just typical story. I mean, one and I got to the point where I needed the money more than I needed the car. And so I sold the car and caught up on some debt and some bills. And a few years after that, my dad passed away. And I always had seller's remorse, from the time I sold the car. And whenever he passed away, it really started hitting me hard. I just wanted something, I guess it kind of represented him, or kind of. And I come across Norma, and it's a sedan. It's not a hardtop, but same color scheme, and definitely in better shape, than the other one I had. Because like I say, I pieced it together, and I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a body guy, but yeah, the 55 Chevy, that first 55 Chevy, and now the GTO would be another one that I regret selling. It was even though it was a late model car, it was a 2006 GTO. It just looks so unassuming because it looks like a Chevy Cavalier, you know. And it was really nice. Had low miles on it, and me and my buddies, we put a Magnuson supercharger in the House of Power cam, and it made 638 at the rear wheels, which now that's respectable, but back then it was bad to the bone. And but I've had a few. I usually get seller's remorse whenever I get rid of them. I miss my little square body pickup. I sold it a couple years ago, and because had a lot of work I wanted to do to the 55 I've got now, so I sold it. And on this 55, we did all ride tech suspension, and the guys up at Nobody Customs, all that was getting a little bit out of my comfort zone. So they mini tubbed it and did all ride tech suspension and pulled the engine and rewired everything, and just make it nice and as clean as I could get. And sometimes you just got to give to get. That's just the way it is. I'd love to keep them all and have them all. You talk about Jay Leno. I mean, that guy. If I had his money, I would be just like that. I'd live in a 2,000 square foot house and have a 200,000 square foot garage.
Yeah, my dream, with my lottery money dream that I joke with my wife about, is a car from every decade.
Yeah.
And not necessarily real fancy ones. It could be just something really simple, and that would be mine. The car that got away in my life was I used to do broadcasting in Biloxi Gulfport, and twice a year the Gulf Coast Mustang Club would do a giveaway for Children's Miracle Network, and they'd be at Walmart's and Kmart's at the time, and you'd spend $5, you'd buy a ticket. One year they asked me to MC it, and they said, would you MC it, and would you pull the names out of the basket? And I said, well, I don't feel comfortable pulling the names out of the basket because I bought 5 or 6 tickets. And they said, look at that basket. There are 6,000 names. The odds of you pulling your name. I reached in, and the name I pulled was mine.
Wow.
For a 1967 Raven Black Mustang fastback with air condition. And I couldn't do it. I dropped it. And when I looked, all of mine were on top. And I didn't do it. I didn't feel right. I could just see the bad publicity in the newspaper at the time that I cheated. And but again, how it got away was the fact that the next day my job was downsized. My wife said goodbye to me.
Oh, man.
And I thought, if I'd have a 67 Raven Black Mustang, it wouldn't sting so bad.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, man, when it comes to cars. Let's talk about the car show coming up. I know you guys got some special guests. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Shorty is coming back. Most people know Shorty. Shorty, most people know him from Iron Resurrection, and then he had his own show on Motor Trend for a couple of years. And whenever Joe and Amanda said we can't come this year, I picked up the phone and I called Shorty, and Shorty's he's turned out to be just a real good guy, a real good friend of mine. And I called him and he said, yeah, man, I'll come. And so Shorty's going to come back this year, and he always does some cool stuff. Even if he doesn't come, he always paints something or sends something to us for our live auction. And then Ryan is coming back from Counts Customs. Ryan came last year, and I think we really kind of just blew him away. He wasn't expecting, he does car shows all over the country, and I don't think he was expecting what we do. We're more, and you talk to anybody that's come to our car show for several years, we're more than just a car show. it's like, I mean, you get all these Cajun people together and we just have a good time. It's almost like a family reunion, you know. I've created such good relationships with a lot of these people over the years, and we just kind of blew Ryan away. And he was like, "Man, I really want to come back next year." So, you know, it was like, if you want to come back, we'd love to have you. And then, talking, he's like, look, I can bring a couple of guys from the shop too. And, the more the merrier, so he's going to come with Horny Mike and Ghetto Bob, and they're going to do something specifically for our VIP dinner that you have to be a guest there to win. And then they're going to do something for our live auction. Our live auction is almost taking on a life of itself. It's an event within itself. So they're going to do something for the live auction. And so as far as celebrity guests, you're going to have Shorty from Shorty's Dream Garage. You're going to have Ryan Evans, Horny Mike, and Ghetto Bob from Counts Custom. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Going to be a lot of fun at the Paragon Casino in Marksville, good old Boyles Parish, where I reside. And tell everybody the dates again, and registration and VIP entry and all that.
Yep. The show opens. Early registration has closed November 1st, but you can register day of event. That's not a big deal. We open the gates up officially at noon on Friday, which is November the 22nd. And we'll go until 5 o'clock on Friday, and then reopen the gates again on Saturday, November the 23rd. VIP dinner, we still have a couple of tickets. We are running a giveaway right now for a $5 donation. We'll throw your name in the hat to win a chance for to get into the VIP dinner. But we still have a couple of tickets left. I strongly advise anybody that that can't afford to do that. It is definitely it's worth it. You'll really enjoy it. But the show will go till 3 o'clock on Saturday, and then we're going to have a couple-hour break while everybody moves inside, and we will start our live auction and our award ceremony inside the Paragon at 5.
Sounds great. Tell everybody the website and other ways to get in touch with you, man.
All right. Website is www.cruisinsouthernstilela.com. And you can reach us on social media, Cruisin' Southern Style. We're on Facebook and Instagram. If you got any questions, you can message us there, and we'll get back to you. You can message us through the website, cruisinsouthernstilela.com, and you can just show up. We're going to have a great time. It's always a lot of fun. If the sun is shining, we will have a good show. I mean, we've had good shows when it wasn't shining. The sun wasn't shining. So if it's pretty weather, we're going to have a great show. We'll have, last year I think we had like 698 or something like that actually registered cars. So yeah, we were splitting at the seams over there. So if the weather's good, we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great show.
Jerry, thanks so much, man, for talking with us at Cajun Classic Cars TV. I'll see you at the show with one, if not two, of my cars, and safe travels to everybody that's going to be seeing you guys to help out St. Jude the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd.
All right, brother. We'll see you there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.